Hey, it's Wolfy-Chan, and I'm back with another anime review. And this anime is Freezing Vibrations, which is basically Freezing Season 2. So, this anime is one of my more favorite animes. I've enjoyed watching the first season. Yes, there was a lot of clothes that have been ripped off, and a lot of fighting, and you find out about the Untouchable Queen and all that stuff, which her name is Satellizer Elbridget, which Elbridget is a really big company. And also that I do have a video of it if you want to look that up. But also, if you don't know fully what the series is, it is not about just hot chicks. It is about girls that are compatible with stigmata fighting. It's not the Noroi. God. It's not Noroi and it's not angels. It's something bad. Because the original one um, basically killed these things, but it was against God's will or whatever creature's will or whatever. And so they come up every so often to try and kill them and kill the human race. It's really weird. It's really cool to see and talk to them. We actually find out that our main character that we kind of follow, his sister was part of this. She died fighting. And her stigmata are in Satellizer. And she looks a bit like her sister, so he wants to be with her. And being part of that means you kind of bound chicka wow wow to then be connected. And he makes freezing forces for, for their people who they're linked with. But of course, since he's not linked in that way to Satellizer, he just tries her best with her. So they're not partners, but they're partners in a sense. So we move on to basically Freezing Vibrations, which they've skipped a couple years and they don't explain what happened or why the facility was so important, because they talk about like the first one, which was like Mary or Magdalene or something, who had a lot of stigmata, and she's the most important creature person, and that's what Satellizer School was protecting. Um, but they skip a couple of that to then go to Alaska. So this is an American side of teams who are basically doing some special research. They go in. All of the schools are there. All of them are there, and they were. The best way to explain it is they don't know what's going to happen. They just know that they're here. And when the military, tells you to come over here, you go. So they get, pampered, treated good. Then all of a sudden they get dropped that there are artificial stigmata they are treating. So the reason why they're experimenting with artificial stigmata is because the rate of connection with stigmata are so low. So let's say we're just grouping it up with us. I might have a stigmata, but maybe 5 or 10 of you are not compatible as women to stigmata. Which men can be compatible, but I think it's a whole different conversation for them. Because you're more of a defender, and the women are more of the attack. It's very interesting and very weird. But it's mainly women, and there have not been a lot of girls that have connected with stigmata. So a lot of them feel just useless, like, I could have been doing something, and I'm not now. Great. So that's how they feel, and it's really sad about that. So it is. And then we have a lot of girls that want to fight, that want to protect everybody, that want to do this, and they can't. So they are testing artificial stigmata so that any girl can be compatible with stigmata. And any girl can fight for their country or the world, because you're going to live on it. So this is basically a combative part of it now. So they're testing the artificial stigmata with real life stigmata. and seeing if they can, be on the same wavelength. So we go, I think, 5 or 6 rounds, and the artificial stigmata are not doing so well. And I believe they're on Mark 1 for their artificial stigmata. Because then Albridget comes and is fighting a Mark 2 who has a bit of red hair and then white. I don't know her name. That's what kind of, like, it's, but she's cool. So she comes in and is fighting with Albridget, and they are neck and neck. They are really hardcore. Um, and you think that the artificial's gonna win because she is so strong, because she is fighting and everything, but all of a sudden she's pushed herself so hard that she basically passes out. And Albridget's about there as well, but she lasts a bit longer. So she has to go to the hospital and make sure she's okay. And Albridget is just tired and wiped out, but they find out that she's a Mark II, which is an upgraded version. But so not the president, but the elite, who kind of has her floating weapons. She's like, that doesn't seem right, and they seem like they're hurting a lot and stuff like that. And you find out a lot of these girls, the reason why they're doing it is because they're poor, is because they have no money, is because they're not treated special or anything like that. So volunteering to be part of this artificial stigmata means that they can actually eat, they can actually have a place to sleep. It is very sad. But you also find out that a lot of the people with artificial stigmata had to go through so much and then died because they weren't compatible. And she finds out about that and gets all the information and sends it out to her father's company, which is a breach of contract. It's a breach of a lot of things. And because she's part of the government and she wasn't supposed to do that, she gets punished. And believe me, the punishment is not good at all. It's super messed up. I didn't like this. It made me squirm. They put basically electrodes. She's in her underwear. Put electrodes up to her and shock her to like volume 10. And she's releasing a lot of bodily fluids, and it is harming her. And by the end of it, she's a vegetable. She's sitting in a room. Her defender is just upset. And Satelliter was going to find out about this. Or found out about it. And she wanted to help. But then she got injured by her with her little floating things at each wrist and her ankles. But she knows about all the information and goes to the Albridget company. She goes back to their estate, which is an island, to get healed back up. And because she's basically a half-sister to the Albridgets, it's like they care about her, but the mother doesn't care about her. And the brother is a sadistic piece of work. Let me tell you about that guy. So in the first one, we find out that she cannot be joined because she can't do that kind of stuff. She doesn't feel like she can, and she doesn't want to. And we find out why is because her brother has been sexually assaulting her and sexually abusing her and being an abusive piece of work. So it's not great. It's horrifying. It's really bad. Ugh. So she comes back, is trying to get healed and stuff like that, and is trying to talk to her father. And he comes into the picture and is being a not great piece of work. It's basically sliding back into what he was doing to her. And because of that, his legitimate partner, he has a partner because he's also a defender, gets jealous. And I believe his name is Arthur. And she's special. So they end up, so her defender is there, Satellizers, and his stigmata is there. And basically what happens is they have to fight. And Satellizer's defender is like, don't act like this. You're not a piece of a piece of candy that can be thrown away. You're not a piece of wrapper that he can play with and mess with. You're not. You're a stronger woman. I've seen it. You're amazing. So, as my awesome picture, there you go. As my awesome picture is, it's both of them fighting, and basically Satellizer is the better of them. But it takes a while. It is a really huge fight. It's amazing. And she's more of like the King Arthur type. She has kind of a sword and stuff like that. She's very interesting. But she loves Satellizer's stepbrother or half brother. She loves him. And she doesn't like the thought that he's still obsessed with Satellizer. So, and she's kind of heard him say her name. And it's like, is that like an ex-girlfriend or something? And he's like, you'll never match up with her. Stuff like that. He's been weird and messed up in the brainal area. So, Satellizer does win, and he does make the point that, like, she is better. She is really strong. She can really do this. It's amazing. So he's like, I will tell father about this, and we'll get the information out. And they do. And so that experiment branch gets ratted out for basically torturing the girls, for how many subjects they've gone through. And actually, as a secret thing, the scientist is making clones of Mary or Margaret. I can't remember. Or Magdalene. Whoever the first person to have stigmata is, she's making copies of them so that instead of the girls fighting, we can just send out clones to fight them. So we also find out that one of the artificial stigmata went for Mark III. And Mark III is not stable, and it's not very compatible. But the American girl with the bit of red hair is like, she wanted it. But they didn't know if her body could really go for another round. So her friend goes for it. They're a little squad of 3. And she's compatible with it for like a day or two. Because she ends up fighting the regular stigmata and wins. And it's like, it's a win. That's awesome. We got this. Woo! Cool and all. But then all of a sudden her body starts deteriorating like a day or two later. And she starts turning into this angel thing. And so she finds out that, like, she did it against her will, and then finds out that she's basically dead. And is very, very upset with it. And that's why the other girl tried to put the information out there and then got, punished for it. And that's when Bridget comes in, and because the Bridget company is so big and so huge, nobody can really stop them from saying anything. They get the information out, and it is credible. So when her friend goes mental and starts changing into it, and all the students come in and are trying to kill her. And of course, because the artificial stigmata had such a, thing with, had such a big tide of friends and stuff, she's becoming very upset and is fighting back everybody. It's not helping. Which then our lady who was top 5, who basically blanked out and was a vegetable, slowly comes back. And it takes a very, very long time. Even the president comes in and makes sure she's okay. But she wakes back up and is also fighting too. And they're like, you're at your limit. You can't do this. Words. But she tries her best. So what happens is the Mark II also turns into this angelic being. And it's just a big mess. It's horrifying. She actually turns into, I think it's a Nova. That's what it is. It took me 5 minutes. Oh, God, I'm sorry. It's a Nova. So they turn into Novas, and she turns into a Nova and merges with her. So Mark 3 and Mark 2 are both together. And so all the girls are trying to make fields and trying to stop it. It makes an artificial field to freeze everybody. Everybody's stigmata is harmonizing and making these horrible wings. And then the clones also all merge with her and make this Nova a little bit more powerful. Ooh. Ooh. So it's another huge fight. And there's a lot of attacking. Satellizer comes up and is trying to fight as well. But then we find out about the president. It's either the president or the vice president. I feel like she's the vice president and the other one's the president. It's been a while. But we find out about her, who has kind of the shadow and claws. She's actually something really hardcore special. And I'm not going to fully tell you about it, and I'm not going to tell you about the end of it. You have to watch the ending of season 2 if you want to find out. But let me tell you, it is amazing. And as a side note, if you want to know if the facility did get closed who are making artificial stigmata, it does. But it's very sad. So I recommend this. If you liked Freezing Season 1, you'll definitely like Season 2. I do not know personally if Season 3 will come out or when it will. Japan takes a while to make the next season if it's liked by other countries and not in their own. I can't do anything about it. So, if you like this video, definitely leave a like. Leave it in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on Season 2 and who is your favorite character? Mine still has to be Satellizer and the main artificial stigmata that we meet. They are really awesome and I like them. And definitely comment below. Have you actually read the manga? I know there's a manga adaptation. Is it as good as this one? And would you like me to review it? It's up to you. With your favorite characters. And definitely don't forget to subscribe, that big red button. I do try my best to get videos out from Monday to Friday with either something new, something old, or just something different, which is what this is. Kinda. There could be more difference. And if you want to follow me on Facebook or Twitter, I have the links down below so that if I do anything on Twitch or do anything live, you'll get notified. Yeah. And I hope that you've been having a very wonderful day. Wolfy-Chan out. Bye.